Probably one of the subjects, Ricky, that you could describe as, what way would you put it? A lot of people maybe don't really know what to do when they talk about it, but it's supplements. Now, a lot of people obviously rely on supplements because their diet or the nutrition that they're eating doesn't have enough of those certain, whether it's vitamins, minerals, whatever it happens to be. So, like, obviously, clearly they need a supplement or whatever to reinforce that. Could you give like an overview of sort of supplements in general, and then, you know, if anyone has any questions about supplements, for example, protein's a big one, of which there's probably, whenever I last looked to order it, there was about 7 different varieties. You know, kind of, there's so much going on within the world of supplements that where do you start, essentially?
It's a minefield, it really is. So the biggest advice I would give to somebody is don't even add supplementation until you have your nutrition in place. And remember, your nutrition plan doesn't have to be 100%, it can be 90%, it can be, you know, you're going to get results at 80% nutrition, you're going to get results at, you know, 50, 60%, well, 51% nutrition and above, but that's probably going to delay that process as well. Like, we can't aim for perfection. And then supplements, the problem with supplements is, like, most supplements will work, but not with the recommended daily allowance that supplement companies have. And these RDAs, recommended daily allowances, they've come from the 1950s. They were developed, you know, literally, what, 70 years ago now? And a typical American family, mid-20s to mid-30s, somebody who is of average weight, average height, average health. So those RDAs were recommended back then. And they don't really look like there's so many, like next to me and you, if we did our blood works, that's the key. You have to know what's happening internally, you have to know what's happening underneath the bonnet before you can start to add supplementation. Now, yes, there's supplementation that definitely works. Protein, creatine are two of the most studied supplements you can get. And again, it depends on your goals. Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to lose fat? There's so many people take fat burners, you know, and they'll just ruin their system. If you take too much caffeine, I did just say that's I was going to say it's a herbal tea, but I would be like, it's actually caffeine at night time. I should be having a glass of water with that. But if your body takes too much caffeine, too much taurine, too much of these energy supplements as well, you're destroying your natural metabolic rate as well, and your body's ability to process that. So the biggest game changer that I've done is actually getting the bloods done. You know, so I've done a diet, focusing on diet, but still felt, you know, I wasn't really optimizing what I could have done. So when I got my blood work analysis done, and then actually designed my own, well, actually I didn't design it, got my coach to do it, designed my own supplement protocol. Now I get my bloods done once a year, and I look at my blood works and go, right, well, I'm low on iron, I need to increase my iron. My testosterone is down, so I need to increase that. What foods increase it? Why is my testosterone down? And then you can really go into your supplementation as well. But yeah, that's, like I say, that's a minefield. I could give general advice looking at somebody's food journal. Yeah. You know, but again, that, you know, I could give you, right, well, say for people who don't eat fish, right, well, instead of so if somebody doesn't eat fish, they go, right, what's the best thing to take? Omega-3. Right, okay. I bought 1,000 omega-3 tablets from a company. I'm not mentioning the names, but I opened up the tablet and I smelled it, and it almost made me sick. The omega-3 was rancid. It's just because you don't know what you're taking. Yeah. You know, that's another problem with supplements as well. Whereas now I'm taking krill oil and fish oils, which are actually locally farmed as well now, which is fantastic. So I know, and when I examine them, I know that I'm taking the right thing. So, like I say, a lot of supplements work and the right daily allowance, but it's very individualized. It's very individualized.
So in a like, in a broad view, like you're talking about getting like your blood analysis done, like is that open to anyone to go and get that done? You know, sort of, I might sound a bit silly saying this, but you know, for people that maybe don't understand or don't know, what sort of would that involve, or where you have to go for it, or?
You should be able to get blood works done at your local GP. But in this day and age, there's a lot of appointments, and doctors are so overworked now that it might be very, very hard to get just for a general checkup. You should be able to get it from the GP, and you also should be able to get a printout. Normally, when you go to a doctor will say, "Listen, you're within a healthy range," and that's good. But again, it's like you need to know the exact amount. So there's a couple of companies I work with. I used to work with Thriva. It was a very good company, and that's an at-home blood testing kit, which is very, very simple to do. It's basically just a pinprick test. Give a couple of small vials of blood, and send that away to the lab, and then they give you the email results, and they tell you how to what you need to work on, and they give you, I know exactly where I'm at, and that's huge. So that could be another, and it's not that expensive. I think if you're trying to optimize your health, you're not afraid of spending a lot of money to make your health feel better as well. But yeah, your general general practice doctor should be able to give you your blood works.
And reflecting back sort of onto that like topic of supplements, like obviously a lot of people sort of protein shakes is like the go-to thing when they're training. Clearly, as you're saying, it is a bit of a minefield. So, like, is there a difference as to when people should be maybe taking these, or is there a sort of essentially who are they for? Should people sort of be avoiding this kind of stuff if they're thinking that their diet's already in check? Should you really be on a protein shake before you go into the gym if your diet's already there? I'm guessing that again it's very similar to your diet in terms of what sort of supplements, or if you're looking to add that extra boost behind what you should be taking. And again, it's going to be different for different activities.
It's a very good question. Again, I not knowing a lot 15-20 years ago when I was firstly training, I was just the more protein the better, and then I got to the stage where I was taking more protein shakes rather than solid food, and then my digestive system started to shut down a little bit because I was only used to able to eat liquid food more so than I was eating more liquid food. So it's definitely a huge part. You need to know that your body's working optimally. Again, that's where your blood works come in. That's maybe where your elimination diet, maybe you're taking out dairy. So a lot of people take whey protein, and whey protein is good if your digestive tract is working. But a lot of people have problems digesting food anyway, and then they're adding whey protein, and that just clogs the system up just a little bit more. So in that case, I would prefer somebody to do a different blend of proteins. You have isolate protein, you have casein protein, you have soy protein, you have hemp protein, vegan protein, things like that, and that's a little bit easier on the digestive system as well. Also, then you get amino acids. You want to make sure that you're eating the right thing. So if you're eating chicken, you don't want to make sure you're eating fish. Okay. So, and it's the same with protein. If you're eating protein, you want to make sure you're eating protein. A lot of companies would put in protein and then they add it with aminos. So when the aminos go up, the protein content goes down. And that actually brings me to another point. It's actually, don't look at food on the front. If you look at food and you look at its nutritional value, you look at its barcode, you look at its nutritional value, you look at what's the ingredients in it. It's vastly important to understand those aspects, and then you can really tell, what you're eating. And the same with protein as well. So if you are eating protein, you want to make sure, how big is the scoop, what size of tub is it, how many grams of protein is it, is there any other aminos in it that's going to lower the quality of the protein. So that's vastly important. For instance, I always talk about protein hierarchy as well in regards to food. Red meat is the best protein because it has every single amino acid on the spectrum. And then next one down would be kind of fish, and then turkey, chicken, pork, and goes down. Sorry, liver would be classified as red meat. But it's the same as protein. Some protein companies are absolutely fantastic because they're about 80-85% protein. Nothing is ever 100% protein, I'm afraid, in regards to supplementation. So that's a huge thing. You need to know where the product's coming from. You need to know it's a reliable source. You need to know the exact protein content in it. So there's a wee formula you could do to work that out. There's so many things that you have to look at in regards to, and that's just protein. Then you've got your your pre-workouts, your intra, your post-workout as well. It depends what way you're training. Is it training for strength? Is it training for cardiovascular endurance as well? So that's where your aminos would come in.